Have you ever sketched or painted a picture and focused really hard on one small part of the picture, and then after 15 or 20 minutes you've zoomed out and realized that the whole picture just doesn't make sense and the proportions are way out? Well, this can be true a lot across lots of different creative work, and I've been noticing this recently, which is why I've created a framework to help you not get stuck in this position. So I noticed this recently when I was making a YouTube video, and the problem is that the greater the distance between the original idea and us sharing it with the world is that we lose sight of the original idea, and it gets broken up and it gets lost in the process, and we focus on small parts of the project and the greater whole gets lost, and this ultimately loses the essence of the idea, and it can become and feel tiresome in the creative process. And we don't want this. We want our creative projects to feel fun, and we want to get into flow, and we want to share our ideas with the world when they're at their most exciting and new state. So this is something that I've been thinking about. Recently I made a YouTube video, and I spent a lot of time editing it. I spent quite a long time planning it, and I was planning to release it like 3 days after I'd filmed it. And by the time I'd got to the point where I was going to share it, the editing process had been long and frustrating, and when I'd exported it, it didn't quite look right and I wasn't happy with it. And I'd almost forgotten about why I made the video in the first place. And this is the problem, and we really want to protect the essence of our ideas. So I've come up with 3 different frameworks to help you with this so you don't get lost, and to speed up the process of having that creative idea and then sharing it with the world. And this is going to make your projects much more enjoyable as well, hopefully. And some of these tips are good for general life as well. So yeah, let's get into them. So here are 3 frameworks you can use to protect your creative energy and make the whole process more fun as well. So the first is to pre-decide. So before we get into a creative task, we can make choices on some of the things that we need to do within it. So for a YouTube video, I might decide the night before what the topic is going to be, how long I'm going to film for, and how long I'm going to edit for. Not only does this protect our creative energy, particularly if we're doing it in the morning when we've got more cognitive tasks to do, but also we can solve problems during the night when we're asleep. It happens in our subconscious sometimes, and that's a really nice added benefit. Number 2 is decision timing. So we don't want to make big decisions when we're tired or towards the end of the day if we can avoid it. So if I'm editing a video, then I'm not going to decide after 8 hours that I'm going to switch to a completely different software, because that's going to be a new learning curve, and I'm tired and I'm just exhausted. So I can make that decision when I've got more energy. The third is a friction audit. So this is taking a step back and realizing when a creative project doesn't feel right. It might be taking too long, or it's arduous, or it's just not feeling how we expected it to be. And we can have a look at why that might be and break that down a little bit. So we can notice how it felt, and it might be that you want to pause the video at this point to think about your creative tasks that you've been doing recently in your projects, and think about, how can I make this shorter? And one really useful question to ask yourself is, can I get a similar result using half the time, or 20% less of the time? And if the answer is yes, you might want to try that. It might make it more fun. It might make it feel more vibrant. It's worth a try. So we can think about the time between the original idea coming to you and the output of that idea as friction. And it's not that friction is a bad thing, it's just we want to try and postpone the friction if possible. So during the process of creation, we want to try and reduce the friction as much as possible. And then afterwards, we can allow that friction to come into play, to change things, to improve things, to iterate on our ideas. That way we've got a first draft, and then we can change things around and keep that original idea intact and as its whole. You might be thinking that these frameworks make you rigid, but I've found the complete opposite. These systems really give you freedom to express your creativity, and most importantly, they get you closer to that original idea and putting that out there into the world.